Hello and welcome back to the chaos that is Shani and Books. As you can see, we are doing a Halloween decorating video. By the way, feel free to mute me and play your own music in the background if you so desire. We're obviously starting here in the library, and I know that I don't normally have this kind of Halloween-y, creepy aesthetic, but my son is obsessed with Halloween, and when we went to Kmart when they first put up their Halloween decorations, he was obsessed, so I knew that I had to do some Halloween decorating around the house. Starting off with these spider webs that I don't know why I just could not figure out how to make them stay. They're really cheap from Kmart. Pretty much everything that I'm using is really cheap as I'm a single mum on a budget, so I'm DIYing a lot of things and using a lot of very cheap decor that you can easily recreate. But yeah, finally got these spider webs onto the shelves, and I got this little ghost from Kmart that I hung up on the fan so it looked like it was like flying around, which was really fun. And then to go with that, I have a haunted keep out tape, because the library is obviously haunted with that ghost. And then I've added these little bat lights. And I filmed this part really badly, but I wanted some art in the room, so I decided to make some. If I was more professional, I would have put them in a frame, but I'm not professional. I also obviously have to hang up my son's art as well, because that's part of being a parent. So here we have our art for the library. And I'm going to leave you here with this lovely clip of my son and I being ghosts and being in our haunted library, which is a lot of fun, and I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. We're now moving on to the hallway, and here's where I'm doing some DIY. So I've got my toilet rolls that I'd been collecting. I have the little tea lights from Kmart, my hot glue gun, and some little command strips. So I'm making these into candles, and I definitely did this in the wrong order. I saw some videos online, but I'd obviously forgotten what to do. So definitely supposed to have painted before I did the little hot glue drips. Because the paint didn't really want to stick to the hot glue, but you know what? It's fine. It doesn't need to be perfect. It all turned out in the end. So yeah, the little tea lights sit in the top like that. And so there I have my candles. I obviously stuck them together, made them all different sizes. I've got these little cheap witches hats from Big W, and just really reading those command strips instructions as well, because I am renting and I'm about to stick things to my roof. So it says it doesn't damage, so let's just all pray. But yeah, now I just have to try and stick all the things to the roof so it looks like it's hanging. I believe it is meant to be mimicking the Harry Potter Great Hall aesthetic, where it's kind of like the candles and the hats are all floating. I was going to do it over my dining table, so it was kind of the same, but it was a lot easier to do it in the hallway because it was, one, a smaller space to fill, and two, the roof wasn't as high, so I could just stand on my chair and do it. But yeah, pretty much just having to hop up and stick them all to the roof one by one. I also saw in the videos people were using like clear fishing line, but I couldn't find any and I didn't have any at home, so I'm just using thread, which you can definitely still see it, but you know what? Again, we're not trying to be perfect here. It looks still pretty good, so it's fine. I also didn't put up all of the candles that I made because I didn't want to put too many of those things on the roof, but I might add a few more just to make it look a little bit better. There is also a set of these online that are way cooler because you don't have to actually get up and individually turn on each light. I think there's like a remote that's in the shape of a wand and you press it and the lights turn on. So if you want that, it's on Amazon, I'm pretty sure I saw, but it was pretty expensive and I wanted to do this the cheap way. And I love doing a bit of DIY, so I'm happy with the way I went with things. And after all of the effort that I went through of doing the DIY, sticking them to the roof, my son is calling them the floating toilets because he knows it was made out of toilet rolls. So instead of getting a cool witchy name for my hallway, it's named the floating toilet hallway. So that's fun. And yeah, here we have my hallway of floating witches hats and candles. I tried my best to get a clip of it at night, but honestly, the camera doesn't really capture it properly. It does look better in person. I tried my best with the camera, but you get the idea. You get the idea. Okay, in the living room, not too much exciting things happening here. I have these little bats, again, really cheap from Kmart, and honestly, heaps of them came in the pack. I didn't think there was going to be that many, but yeah, I'm basically just sticking those onto the wall. And that's pretty much it for this section. Not too much to say. I will say that it's quite ironic because this is the part of my house where the rainbows reflect off my window. So we've got the spooky bat aesthetic mixed with the fun rainbow aesthetic. But anyway, it's fine. It's a mixture of both. And the bats are right next to the little floating hat hallway. So I feel like it all comes together nicely. We have some more DIY things happening. My son is doing a little pumpkin, and yes, it's on display because I display things that he creates proudly. I have a little pumpkin candle that I also got from Kmart, and I got this really cool skull candle from Kmart that when it melts down, I feel like it's going to look really cool as the skull kind of melts away. So I'm excited to see what that ends up looking like. But here's my little dining table with the remainder of my candles that I didn't hang up, and my skull candle and some spiders, because every time we go out my son really wants more creepy things from the Halloween section. So lastly, we have, not very exciting, the bedroom, but I put the rest of the bats up here that I had left over, and I've got these little posters that I actually made that it's like the Twilight covers if they were in the Goosebumps style. So threw them up, no frames because again, I am not professional, but yeah, that's everything. Hope you enjoyed my little decorate with me video, and I'll leave you off with this ghost clip.